Hi everybody, welcome to Algebra 1 e-learning week 6. I have figured out something magical this week and realized I can use my doc cam to record these videos. So hopefully you can read my handwriting a little bit better and it'll be a little bit easier for you to walk through what we are doing this week this way. Still feel free to send me an email. My email address is still here for you. If you have any questions, text my Google Voice or stop into Zoom every day at 12:30. Let's talk about first what we are going to be doing this week, and then I have a little bit of a twist here. We're going to mix it up a little, and we're going to incorporate some song because it's been a while since you've all heard any algebra songs, and I know you're missing them. So, first things first, we have due Tuesday this week. Tuesday is May 12th. The first assignment is your quadratic formula part 1. We're going to talk through what that looks like today and how that works. And then in the next video, you can see and learn more about the quadratic formula part 2 assignment, which is due on Thursday. Make sure, a lot of you are saying like, oh yeah, I did that assignment. Be sure to email me your work. It's really hard for me to grade if I don't see what your work is, so make sure you're getting that to me. But enough about what we're doing this week. Let's actually get into some of the fun and the excitement about all this. So this week we're talking about something called the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is here in this red box and is the most important thing that we're going to do this week. It's so important, in fact, that I really want you to memorize the quadratic formula, and I want you to kind of have it in your brain replaying over and over again. And what better way to do that other than through song? So we're going to go ahead and start off here with a little song with the quadratic formula. If you send me a video of you singing this quadratic formula, it can be with you, it can be with you and a friend. I will give you bonus points on either these assignments for this week or to help you with assignments from other weeks that you might have lost points on or missed. So again, bonus points if you send me a video of you singing the quadratic formula song, either by yourself or with a friend. So here we go.
X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square b squared minus 4ac over 2a. X is equal to negative b plus the square b squared minus 4ac over 2a. X is equal to negative b plus the square b squared minus 4ac over 2a. X is equal to negative b minus the square b squared minus 4ac over 2a.
Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and stop that there. And we're going to bring ourselves back to our paper for today. Like I said, that was done intentionally to hopefully get this quadratic formula really ingrained in your brain. And now we're going to actually go ahead and talk about how we use this quadratic formula and what it's for. So first thing, the quadratic formula is used to find the roots of our parabolas. So we remember that we've been graphing our parabolas. We found that vertex point, we found that axis of symmetry, but what we didn't always look at, or what we were working on trying to find, was where that parabola crossed that x-axis. We use that discriminant equation and formula to figure out how many roots that the parabola had. But now we want to actually figure out what those roots are. And that's what this quadratic formula is going to do for us. So negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. We have all the information. All we need to do is plug and chug in order to find our solutions. So let's go ahead and give this a try with our first example. We will call this number 1, x squared minus 8x minus 20. We know that there is an invisible 1 here that represents our a. We have a negative 8 that represents our b. and a negative 20 that represents our C. So we're just going to go ahead and plug these in. Opposite of B. B is a negative 8, so the opposite of a negative is going to give us a positive. So we have 8 plus or minus, keep that in mind for just a minute, square root of b squared, not forgetting about those parentheses, our b is our negative 8 squared, minus 4 times our a value is 1, and our c is negative 20. And that is all over 2 times our 1. So now let's go ahead and try to simplify some of this before I plug it into a calculator. We're going to keep our 8 plus or minus the square root, and let's simplify what's under here. 8 squared is going to give us 8 times 8 is 64. Negative 4 times negative 20 is going to give us a positive 80. All over 2 times 1. All right, if we keep going then through, we're going to have 8 plus or minus the square root. 64 plus 80 is 144 over 2. So this gets broken down then into 2 pieces. We have 8 plus the square root of 144, or 8 minus the square root of 144. So the first thing that we might need to remind ourselves is what is the square root of 144, and that is 12. So we have 8 plus 12 divided by 2, or 8 minus 12 divided by 2. 8 plus 12 is 20 divided by 2, which is going to give us 10. Or 8 minus 12 is negative 4 divided by 2, which gives us negative 2. So what did we just find? We just found our 2 roots of this particular parabola. So x can equal negative 2 or 10 for this parabola, which basically just means if we were to graph this, our parabola would cross the x-axis where x was negative 2 and where x was 10 for that first example. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with our second one. Notice here too, we have 2 nice even solutions. We got nice solid rounded values. That's great, but that's not always going to happen. So before we go on to our next example, I'm going to make a quick note down here. It's okay if your roots, ooh, my marker is not wanting to work. There we go. If your roots are decimals, that's totally fine. It's not always going to work out to be nice, perfect, even numbers. Okay, but let's take a look at this second example here. X squared minus 5x minus 36. We're going to plug that in with our opposite of b. So we have opposite of a negative 5 is positive 5, plus or minus the square root. B squared, not forgetting to put that in parentheses, minus 4 times our a is 1, times our c is a negative 36, all over 2 times our a value. Now this one I'm going to need to get out my calculator, so I'm using my calculator on my phone. You can feel free to use whatever calculator, whether it's on your computer or it is just the same old traditional calculator. So I'll put mine here so that we can see what I'm doing and what I'm working on too. So I'm going to rewrite my 5 plus or minus the square root of 25. And now I'm going to do my negative 4 times 1 times negative 36 to give me 25 plus 144. And then that's all over 2. I'm going to simplify one more time. 5 plus or minus the 25 plus 144 I need to simplify. So 25 plus 144 is going to give me the square root of 169 divided by 2. And I know that can get split into two different pieces because of that plus and that minus. So I'm going to have 5 plus, and I might need to review for myself what the square root of 169 is. So if I plug that into my, oopsies, turn this so you can see it, my square root of 169, I remind myself, sorry y'all, is 13. So I'm going to have 5 plus 13 divided by 2, or I'm going to have 5 minus 13 divided by 2. I'm going to double check to make sure I did all my work here correctly. So I'm making sure I plugged those points into the correct spots. And I didn't miss any of those negative signs because that can be a tricky little area where we make that misstep. And it looks like I'm doing okay. So here I'm going to end up with 5 plus 13, which is 18 divided by 2. So x in this case will give me 9. Or 5 minus 13 is going to give us a negative 8 divided by 2, which is going to give us a negative 4. So my x can be either a negative 4 or a 9 in this situation, which again would just tell me that my quadratic formula gives me the answers that my roots will cross that x-axis at either negative 4 or in this case 9. So that's where we get that U-shaped parabola from. If you have any more questions, please take a look at this. I will upload this picture, a picture of this work also to the Google Drive. So if you want to take a peek to review for yourself, otherwise be sure to stop back on Thursday this week to make sure you're good to go for your second assignment and for some more fun singing.